right, welcome to One Nation, a Sports Soccer Magazine Extra. Today is Monday, March the 6th. I cannot believe February's already gone. We're into March. We've had some sunshine. Today was a beautiful day right here in central Missouri. The Japanese beetles are flying everywhere. They've been even attacking me in my room right up in here. Jay will talk about that in a little bit. Saw a bald eagle flying over the top when I was coming in my driveway. It is the wild going on out here, out on 179. Anyway, we're going to bring in the guy. Speaking of wild, we're going to bring the man in right now, Jay Gill. How you doing?
Oh, that was a really good transition, Dad. Good job. Proud of you on that one.
Hey, thanks. I try.
Why they call me? That's why they call me the Sasquatch. I'm wild, hairy, and I'm sassy. So
Yeah,
before the program started, I didn't know if we were going to be able to even, go
I know.
live because
I know.
the Beatles were just attacking you. You were getting angry.
I was
Um,
getting angry. I was.
you were murdering them. It was
I
a
did.
whole thing.
I did.
Um, so I'm glad that the Beatles are at bay. But if I see you drop down and you're getting attacked, I'll call mom and I'll send her
All right.
upstairs.
Jay, you know who's on? We've got Patty. She's joining us tonight. She has been so busy traveling all over the place to games and everything. Got those grandkids. Good to have you on here, Patty.
Oh, that is awesome. Welcome, Patty. Thank you. Uh, Tonight it is just gonna be Kirk and myself.
Well, there she went. No,
I've
I'm just
got
kidding.
some. Oh,
That's awesome.
out, and then we also have something else we wanted to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we do. Some pretty important stuff. I understand that people really get into sports and their teams and their kids and all those types of things, but wow, can things get out of control?
I didn't realize, my kids are now getting to where we're playing, the middle school sports, and I'm getting to see how intense these games can be and how um, how intense certain fan bases are.
Hmm.
We have one group that I will not name, but they are part of the homeschool group. It's a church and they are just very intense. I feel like the middle school sports is all they have. And so
Uh,
that is all the families, the parents, um, they're bringing out cheerleaders and announcers for just a middle school game. And it's not, this is like JVB team. And so it's like sixth and seventh graders and you're like, what in the world is going on? And the last time we played them, we played at their place, and after the game is when my heart was broken. Deacon, who is my 7-year-old, um, Dad, you know him. He's got a heart of gold.
yes, he
Um,
does.
he wants to be friends with everyone, and so he always will go up to kids he doesn't know, and he's always like, hey, my name's Deacon, can you be my friend?
Yeah.
And he did that, and he was immediately told no. He looks like a girl and that he's a loser, and they
Yeah.
repeatedly called him a loser like the whole night.
How
And
did Dad handle that?
I had no idea. And so the kids were just dealing with it on their own while I was watching my oldest son play basketball. And I had no idea it was happening. And so we're trying to leave, and I'm walking with Deacon, and he's like, Dad, they were being mean to me. They keep calling me a loser. And he just breaks down crying. Like
Mm.
he's crying so hard he can't even get the words out. And
Oh.
I'm like, dude, what is happening? And at this point I look up and I see there are these little girls. I don't know, there's like 6 or 7 of them. They probably vary in age from like 5 to 9, and they're walking around like this with an L held up to their forehead, and I see them going loser, loser. And so the dad bear in me, I'm like, hey, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, we're literally playing in a church. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you do that? That's not what Jesus would have done. And the little girls like roll their eyes and walk away. And I'm like, what is happening? What sick place is this? And so, anyways, they are officially the rivals now.
Uh-huh.
I consider their fan base like worse than the Philadelphia fan base, and they booed Santa, which is a
Oh, wow.
pretty
That's
big
pretty rough.
Cardinals sin. It's pretty rough.
That's pretty rough.
Um,
Well, that's it's
so
kind of on the level of like Boo and Deacon because I just want to share this real quick with our viewers. I mean, this is the guy that we're talking about here, and I just want to share this here, this quick little. So, that's what we're talking
yeah,
about. We're talking about the guy who is out there playing goalie, dancing to his own tune with really there was no music playing. That was background music was put
there's
in
no
there,
music.
but it was perfect. Oh, that's the kind of guy we're talking about. And they're calling him a loser. Wow. Horrible stuff. Sportsmanship.
Yeah,
We see it
it
on all levels though. Wow.
yeah. That's my most recent um bad sportsmanship, but it leaves a horrible taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
The parents didn't care. They were equally as rude and did not care at all. And it just spoke to it literally spoke volumes about what those like how those type of people are and what they
Hmm.
represent. And so not good, especially coming from a church itself. It was just like that's really not a good representation of what they should be doing as a church. So they are officially our rivals. They
Uh-huh.
came to our gym and we beat them, and we
Boom.
were pretty hyped up to beat them. And so now we're going to play them again, but it'll be on their turf, with their referees. And their referee, they had one referee, and he didn't call a foul the entire game. It was very rough. So I am not looking forward to that this week, but I am going to be paying a lot closer attention
Uh-huh.
to what's going on around me, and
Absolutely.
make sure that my kids are protected and safe, because I was not happy to have Deacon's heart broken. But he
Right.
wasn't the only kid that had his heart broken. There was another little girl um, whose brother plays with Bowman, and they said that she was ugly and a loser as well. So her heart was broken, and she cried pretty much all night as well. Just
Well,
very mean, mean kids.
you talked about the official that's going to be there, and speaking of officials, Patty's son, he is an official, and he travels around. And he does Blake does a great job, and however, people don't treat them very well. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, why
No,
why do you think people just get so angry?
well, it's when you watch the Super Bowl and the call goes one way, and you've got one fan base saying no and the other fan base saying yes. It's easy to see how intense you can get. It
Yeah.
gets wild live. Like these people are live. They're a real human being standing right in front of you, and the bleachers usually only separate you by 15 feet. And people are screaming at these guys, and I'm like, just let them call the game. A lot of times, like I love the refs. I love cheering them on. I always like to walk up and pound their fists with them and say,
Hmm.
I was rooting for Stripes the whole time. Go Stripes, because there is so much pressure on
Yeah.
when you're calling a game, especially when it's live like that. It's hard to see
Hmm.
everything. So the best is when you can get two refs on a basketball court. It's best to have two refs, but when you only have one out there, it makes it extremely difficult.
Well, when we had men's church league basketball, and we would sometimes have three refs on there, it still didn't matter. Church church league basketball, some of the roughest basketball you will find on the planet, right?
Yeah, my wife has a lot of memories of watching church league basketball
Uh-huh.
and not having a lot of respect for people who are supposed to be representing the church.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. And Patty, yes, we need to pray. We need lots of prayer for for these people. There's just no call for it. And the sad
Yes.
thing is, we see it on the professional level, just the lack of sportsmanship
Yep.
and how, these guys and these women, they're supposed to be models, and what they're doing is, it's just sad because these kids are going to emulate that. It's sad, just even seeing about a professional basketball player that was just recently had a photo with him with a gun in a
Oh
bar in
yeah.
the late hours of the morning, and all these kids that have his jerseys and all the different things like that. Maybe all of a sudden they think, well, hey, it'd be cool if I had a gun. I mean, just they
Yep.
look to these guys and these women with such admiration, and they want to emulate them, but my goodness, we need better role models.
Yeah. It's definitely a moment where you want to check yourself and just make sure when you're at the games you're being respectful, cuz I hear even at our home game at our home gym, I sit next to these guys who were just screaming at the coaches, at the refs, and I'm like, "Hey, good call. Good call,
Yeah.
ref.
Yep.
Called it against us. I don't care. Good call, ref. We'll bounce right back. That's not going to dictate the outcome of the game. Why are you screaming like you are? It's just ridiculous. So I definitely wanted to take this first segment just to talk about sportsmanship and having respect for the
Yeah.
officials, for the opponents, for the fellow fan bases. Like there's no reason to have that level of hostility anywhere in the school systems, like from middle school to high school to colleges. Like it's just uncalled for.
Yeah, it is. And again, going back to professional sports, some of the professional sports, like, well, football, a lot of times you will see the guys go across the field, shake hands, give hugs to the other players. But then you look at, like, in the NBA and in Major League Baseball and some of those, they just pretty much, we're going to do our own thing and we're out of here.
Yep. Yep.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yep.
I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's a great soapbox, and I think I at least got to let some of my frustrations out. So thank you for giving me the floor.
You did, but we put on the video of Deacon, and that just brightens everybody's day right there. Every time I
It
watch that,
does.
I just
It
smile.
does.
That's great. Very good. Uh, what else you got? Anything else that you want to cover as far as sportsmanship, or you want to take a quick break and come back for local sports?
I am ready to dive into my local sports.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we will be right back.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
While I go to school full time.
While I work full time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
All right, Jay, we had a little technical difficulty with that last one there, and I do not know. There
Oh,
we go. Um, so CNS Business Services, why don't you go ahead and talk about them? Because their video won't
yeah.
download. So,
No problem at all. CNS Business Services, they have been around for 45 years. They are an awesome company. They have been a sponsor with us since day one, and we are just so appreciative of CNS Business Services. If you're looking for a job, if you have certain criteria that you need to have met, whether it's flexible scheduling, um, uh, certain hours that you need to work, reach out to CNS Business Services. I'm telling you, they will work with you. They can get you partnered up right. Um, what I love about it is if you have certain core values that you want to make sure align with a company, you want to get aligned with CNS Business Services because they have some of the best values out there. They will work with you one on one, and they will make sure that you get with the right company, and you just can't ask for a better representation in the workforce. So yeah, if you are needing work, reach out to CNS Business Services. You will not be disappointed. They are great people. Anything you want to add with them, Dad?
No, not only do they do an outstanding job, as far as in locating jobs for people, but they are very active in the community. They're very giving,
Yep.
and you hit it on the head just saying that you can't find a better group of people than that. So we really
Yep.
appreciate them.
Yep,
Very
they
good.
have been fantastic to work with. Next up, our other sponsor is the Missouri Army National Guard. Every week we say it, and we'll keep saying it. If you are a service member for this country, we say thank you. 5% of the nation has that calling in their heart that they want to join the military and serve the country, and less than 1% actually act upon it. So if you're part of that 5%, if you're right there in Missouri and you think, man, I serve the country, but I don't even know where to start, reach out to the Missouri Army National Guard. If you want to talk about people who are going to be with you every step of the way, they'll talk with your family with you. They'll make sure that you get um, what you want to do, your career lined up. Plus, obviously, the benefits of serving the country, getting college paid for. I'm telling you, reach out to the Missouri Army National Guard, and you will not just be disappointed. And if you've served our country, again, we say thank you.
Absolutely. And we uh, we have a lot of people that have made the sacrifice in defending our country. And I know we have different holidays where we try to recognize them, but just we're just grateful for all the sacrifice and um, not only with their time, but also with their families. That's a really a big deal. So again, I agree completely, Jay. We appreciate them.
Yep, that's awesome.
You ready to
All
talk some
right,
local
so
sports?
diving into some local sports, we had some good stuff happening. I want to touch on some basketball highlights. I don't know where we're at on the game right now, but I know Jefferson City, they are playing tonight. St. Francis Borgia Knights. Am I saying that right, Dad? Borgia
Bor-
or Borgia?
Borgia. Yeah,
Borgia
Borgia.
Knights.
Yep.
Okay. Yep, and they are playing tonight for the district title. That is awesome. To get here, the Jays did beat the Helias Crusaders. Helias did their best to slow down the speed of the Jays, but eventually the Jays got running, and that's what they've been doing all year. Very excited for the Jays tonight. So if you're there in Jeff City, or if you're at the game, if you have any updates, please post them in the comments. Very excited to see the outcome of that game tonight. Another game coming up here is we've got the Lady Jays. They got past Union in the district semifinal. So Hannah Linthicum, she scored a pair of baskets midway through the fourth quarter, and that was on Saturday. And it sparked a 10-0 run as the Lady Jays beat Union, and they are advancing to the district finals, which is awesome. Another note for Hannah Linthicum. She also reached her 1,000 rebound career milestone last week against Capital City. She did that on Thursday. I hear about the 1,000 point milestone. Well, Dad, you can get two or three of those at a time when you shoot the ball, but a
Right.
rebound, you
Right.
only get one of those.
That's
Those
right.
are hard. Those are hard to come by. and she did 1,000 of them. So I think that's a
Absolutely.
huge milestone, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. She hit her 1,000th point and she had 1,000 rebounds. That's awesome. I have what maybe it seemed like I had 1,000 Japanese beetles flying around out there in the. I'm just kidding.
That's the only thing 1,000 you have going on right now.
That's right.
Oh, another game I want to talk about is the Southern Boone versus California. They were playing for the district title, and Southern Boone came out on top. The Lady Eagles won that match. They won the rematch by a score of 58-45 against the California Lady Pintos. We write about Southern Boone and California in our magazine. So while we're sad for California, we're also excited for Southern Boone, and just two awesome programs going to the championship. You can't ask for anything better than that. So I thought that was awesome. If I'm missing any other games of who's still playing basketball for the district, please let me know in the comments. But I think that's all the teams that are in the matchup still, and fighting for championships.
Yeah. And I'm trying to look up real quick to see if I can find any scores, but I don't see anything so far. So you can continue on, and I'll tell you if I find something.
All right. I do want to touch on wrestling before we
Absolutely.
get going here. But man, we had some amazing turnouts in wrestling across so many schools. I don't think I can talk about all the kids state and placed and finished. So I'm going to touch on some here. So if I'm missing any, someone again, please let me know. But real quick here, we had Lexi Dunwitty. She is a wrestler for the Lady Jays. She set a goal before the start of the Class 1 girls wrestling that she wanted to make the finals. Well, she did more than that by winning the state title. She went all the way to the top, and so I just think that is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Um, so yeah, huge goal, a huge accomplishment for Miss Lexi Dunwitty representing the Lady Jays. But yeah, won in the Class 1 girls, in her weight class.
And that's outstanding
Yeah.
too, Jay. I mean, you're talking about um, girls wrestling has not been around that long, and just to see the how quickly some of these student athletes they are just jumping right in there, and I mean some of them are dominating, and
Oh yeah.
you see that same fierce competitiveness that you see with the boys, and that reminds me back when I was a youngster. That was just a few years ago, but it reminds me back when I was a youngster. We were like in club soccer, or not soccer, club wrestling, and I tried it for 1 year, and my brother he was trying it as well. Carrie was a year younger than me, and there was this girl back then that she was good, and she was like taking the boys down, and so I think that's when both Carrie and I decided, we're out of here, we're done,
Nope.
we're done.
I I don't need to get beat up by a girl. And
Uh,
I'm telling you,
and that
these
was back. That
girls
was a long
are
time ago.
yeah, and these girls are vicious. It is like you said, it is. I'm so glad to have the girl wrestling in there because I
Absolutely.
think of even my daughter, she would tear some butt
Oh my
up
goodness.
wrestling. So
I've
I'm
se-
telling you,
I've seen her do jujitsu, and
you've
oh
seen
yeah,
Audrey.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
oh yeah.
And
And so I'm gonna
I'm sure you
continue.
felt the wrath of Audrey too, haven't you?
I've tapped out. That girl has made me tap out. It is not fun when you're I think she was 12 at the time. Your 12-year-old girl makes you tap cuz you feel like she's going to break your arm. Not good, folks. Not good. But
That's
that
awesome.
it's awesome. I've got two more lady wrestlers I want to touch on. You got Southern Boone, junior. She's just a junior. Callie Bergthold. She ran the table on Wednesday and Thursday of 2 weeks ago, in the Class 1 girls um, wrestling state championship at the Mizzou Arena. she won state title. So right there as a junior, Callie just did an amazing job. And so again, love Southern Boone, love having them in the magazine. So I thought that was great. Another one, which is it blew my mind when she did it last season, was she turned around and did it again. Last year, Jacinda Espinoza became the first capital city wrestler to win a state title. Well, she went back and did it again. She claimed her second straight state title for the capital city high school. So I think that's so cool because they're such a young program and a young school in general. And Jacinda has now brought them 2 first place state wrestling titles, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Great job. Great job, ladies.
Yep. Let me pull up wrestling now. All right. I've got Zach Rackers and Brady Kerperin of Blair Oaks. Both finished in second place in their weight class at the state tournament. So both of them went all the way to the finals, and Blair Oaks was really hoping that they would both win first. But I'm telling you, even for these guys, I know it hurts, but how awesome that you made it all the way to the very last wrestling match of the state tournament. So shout out to both of them. They represented the school extremely well, and Mid-Missouri still loves you. Great job getting second place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Another Lady Falcon, Hallie Eaton, she finished fourth place, earning her first medal at the state tournament. So I wanted to give her a shout out as well.
Good job, Haley.
For Fatima, we had a junior, Cody Strope. He took third place at state. Cody had high hopes going into the tournament, Dad. He lost his very first match. It automatically took him down to the wrestle back bracket. And I thought that name was awesome. The wrestle back bracket.
Uh-huh.
And he did something that I thought was super cool. He won 5 consecutive matches after getting knocked down in his first match. He then won 5 in a row, and he took third place in his weight class. So I love when you face adversity like Cody did, and right away you're told, nope, you're not going to be able to go to the finals. He could have given up. He could have said, all right, I don't really care anymore. Instead, it drove him to wrestle as hard as he could, and he won the wrestle back bracket third place. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's an outstanding job. I'll tell a story after you finish with this next part here. So,
all right, and then I want to touch on Eldon sophomore Josiah Simmons. He's a sophomore. Last year, he lost wrestling on the bubble tournament. He wasn't even able to go to state. He was on the bubble. This year, he went all the way to the last match, and he took second place at state as a sophomore. So very excited for Josiah Simmons and to see what he can do in his weight class next year.
that's a sophomore. Isn't that amazing? Great job. All these student athletes, outstanding job. I wanted to really quickly go back and talk about Cody and what he accomplished there by, losing his first match and then, going winning 5 consecutive ones to take third place. I think back to when we played for the state championship in softball years ago, and we lost our first game, and then we had to play 9 softball games in 2 days. And just for me being one of the older guys on the team, I can't really say that I was happy about that. I can't really say that the drive and determination. I was hurting for I think a couple of weeks after that.
I bet.
So outstanding job, Cody. I mean, wow,
Yeah.
That's great. Great story.
Now there's 2 more wrestlers I want to talk about. Both of these guys, one of them representing the Jefferson City Jays, the other one is representing Helias. Both of them are fantastic students. Joseph Kuster will actually be featured in our next issue of Sports Locker magazine, uh, and he is going to be um, in that magazine. So we are very excited. What issue is that, Dad? The May June.
He's going to be March April, I think,
He
isn't
is.
he?
Oh yeah, he's March April. Oh, I'm already
Yeah.
moving into May
And
June.
just pronunciation, Custer. Want to make sure you have that.
Custer.
Yeah,
Very
we
sorry.
got that. No, it's
And
good.
if I'm not,
I
if
didn't
I,
want him to come all the way to Colorado
yeah,
and all of a sudden put you in a chokehold. So I thought
I
I'd better
don't
say
need
it.
him to beat me up. I did meet him, and he scared me. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Dad, is Joseph going to be on the cover of the magazine?
I don't know, Jay. I think so, maybe.
I think he is. When we met him and took pictures for the magazine, I had no idea, but he had a torn ACL.
Mhm.
One thing I want to bring up is he wrestled the entire season with a torn ACL. He just had surgery this past Thursday to repair that ACL. This is his second ACL surgery after having one in his left knee repaired 2 summers ago. He started his junior wrestling season 5 months later. This kid went an entire season of wrestling with a torn ACL. He wore a nice fat brace, so if his opponents didn't know that he had a hurt knee, they saw it as soon as he stepped on the mat. And there he talks about target his knee during the wrestling. Mr. Joseph Custer had pretty high hopes this year. He finished fourth place, which is his third time finishing fourth place at the Class 3 state tournament.
But wow, I mean,
I know
with a
he was
torn
disappointed
ACL. Wow.
with a torn ACL. I know he was disappointed, but his coaches had nothing but good things to say. Um, the Jefferson City coach, Nathan Redcase, said, "What a phenomenal season with everything he had to go through. He's the toughest kid I've ever coached. I'm so proud of him for everything he accomplished. With a fully torn ACL, people don't realize how hard it is to go through an entire season. You have pain every single day. He did it for the entire year. It's crazy." So, anyways, I also want to talk about Helias's Carter Pringer. He finished fourth place in his respective class. He didn't even start practicing wrestling until January.
January.
He
Yeah.
he missed an entire 2 months of training and an entire month of wrestling on the schedule because he broke his leg in a motocross accident.
That's
So
crazy.
despite these guys having these crazy injuries, they went all the way to state and they both finished in fourth place. Um, the Helias coach, Weston, he
Kelleher.
had this to say. Kelleher, he
Yep.
said Carter has been a staple of our program the past couple of years. He has the attitude you want from a wrestler. So, Joseph, Carter, I know you guys are disappointed in how your season turned out and only getting fourth, but I'm telling you, we are all so proud of you
Absolutely.
and just amazed at the toughness you guys have because there's no way I could have pulled anything like that off. Joseph also said, he said, someday I'll look back and I'm going to think that I was a pretty bad dude for getting through what I went through the last 2 seasons, but right now, not so much. And so I hope, since we're a couple weeks removed, he can already start looking back going, how did I do that? I had a
Yeah.
torn ACL and I did what I did. Like, he should be super proud. I know he has a decision to make for where he's going to continue wrestling. His two older brothers wrestle for Drury College, so I know
Uh-huh.
that's on the table. But he also had a visit with Central Oklahoma coming up. So
Hmm.
Joseph's going to keep wrestling in college, and I'm very excited to see where his career keeps going.
We'll just go ahead and put this out there and say it. Even if you don't think so yet, guys, we think you're pretty bad dudes. That is some awesome stuff. Wow. Those are
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's just amazing.
yeah. So to have, it's always cool to hear about those types of stories. Well, we had two of them right here in Central Missouri
Yeah.
happening at the same time. So I figured our viewers would enjoy some of that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's I was not able to find a score. I was working hard trying to do that. Couldn't get it. Didn't have my little score ticker tape going across or anything like that. Tried to find it but couldn't do it. So, anyway, with that, you covered lots of good stuff there tonight, and thank you, Jay. You did an outstanding job.
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited for. We talk every week, but we love how much great sports happen right there in mid Missouri. And if you're one of those guys, or if you're someone that's bummed out, the NFL season's over. You're trying to figure out what's the purpose for my Sundays and my life anymore. I don't have any sports going on. I'm telling you, you've got a ton of sports that you can start following right there in mid Missouri. So I hope some of those stories might trigger you to go, I should probably go support the schools and see what they have going on. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of these student athletes we get the privilege of covering with Sports Soccer Magazine. So we're excited to be able to do that, as well as we're able to have quite a few of them come on our One Nation of Sports Soccer Magazine Extra and get to hang out with the Bald Eagle and Sasquatch. Is that not
That's right.
a highlight of their lifetime? Oh, at least we think so, right?
It's definitely a highlight of mine.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay, thank you so much. Why don't you go ahead and close this out, and we'll give everybody an early break tonight.
Sounds awesome. So you guys know where to find us. We are here every Monday at 7 p.m. If you are wanting to just watch some awesome programs, some awesome content, we love bringing on student athletes. We love bringing on guests on our show, interviewing them. You can join us every Monday at 7 p.m. And we just want to have a good time, have fun, and talk about sports, because that is what fires us up, and I know it can bring the community together. Patty, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was an absolute pleasure. We will see you guys next week on One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I am the Sasquatch. He is the Bald Eagle, and we'll see you next week. God bless.
God bless. We'll see you next week.